Hello and welcome to the Nicole Mason Show, the show where we bring movers and shakers, trailblazing women, women who are working at the highest levels in their respective vocations and industries. And today, I am so super excited to bring to the Nicole Mason Show this awesome woman of God who is making waves in one of the mountains of influence that we know as media and in other places. Let me share a little bit of her bio. She has done all kinds of work, but let me just read in your hearing a little bit about Lillie Mae. As an award-winning PR expert, and founder of the Glambitious brand. I love that name. I fell in love with it the first time I heard it. Lillie Mae has helped entrepreneurs around the world grow their business through books, coaching, and masterclasses for over 10 years. She's also hosted special events around the country, including in New York, Atlanta, Miami, and New Orleans during Essence Festival. One of her exciting year accomplishments included helping a beautypreneur client reach $500,000 in 6 months. Remember, let me read that again so you can. One of her exciting accomplishments include helping a beautypreneur client reach $500,000 in 6 months. And this year, she plans to give away her PR ebook for free to 40,000 entrepreneurs at www. Listen, make sure you're writing this down. Happy birthday, Lillie. LILLIE.com. And we're going to also have that on the site for you to make sure you get your copy of the ebook. Lillie Mae is a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill and has been seen on Netflix, TMZ, Black Enterprise, NBC, 11 Alive, Cosmopolitan, Huffington Post, and more. To connect with her, visit theglamceo.com or follow at I am Lillie Mae on Instagram. Listen, I'm so excited. Welcome to the Nicole Mason Show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
So let's just jump right in. You do so much, and I want to personally thank you for how you have helped me to get visibility for my brand, to help me to spread the word in the way that God has given it to me by awesome opportunities in your magazine and on your podcast. So I want to just ask you, how did you get into PR?
Yes, that's a great question. So while I was in college, one of my professors got me an internship in the publicity department of Universal Motown Records in New York. And so I went and stayed in New York for the summer, and I had such a great time at that internship that I was like, yes, PR is definitely what I want to do because it was so much fun. And so then I got a few other internships in PR as well. And once I graduated, I moved to Atlanta. I started helping a magazine company with their marketing and PR. And then once they went out of business, then I started into entrepreneurship. Fast forward, one of my college friends said, hey, you have experience in PR. Can you help me with my client from American Idol, a singer that was on American Idol? I was like, sure. And so that was my very first PR client. And with him, I was able to get him on BET and so many different outlets like Billboard and Complex Magazine, and so much great work I was able to do with him that it turned into a snowball effect. And then people around Atlanta wanted to work with me. So that is how I got into PR.
That's so awesome and amazing. And what would you say is one of the greatest benefits of having someone such as yourself to help you in your business to get your message out?
Yeah, usually the entrepreneurs I work with, they are experts at a specific thing. And so it's so important that you have someone on your team that's an expert at getting your message out, at getting you publicity opportunities, getting you exposure, getting you speaking opportunities, because that is the conduit to success. And so it allows you the freedom to just be an expert at what you're an expert at and not have the weight of figuring out marketing and figuring out publicity and figuring out how to do it for yourself. So that I think is the biggest benefit to work with someone like me, whether I'm coaching you and giving you the strategy or whether you're hiring me to do it for you. It just makes your life easier because you get to be an expert at specifically, what you're an expert at and not have to carry the whole weight of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's awesome and amazing. And so I know people who are listening, they may now be thinking, how do you vet someone to help you? How do you know you're getting a good PR representative, a good PR expert, aside from what they may have on social media or, what they may have in their bio, but what are some ways that people can decipher, okay, I want to hire Lillie Mae versus someone else? What should we be looking for, or what are some of the tips that you would recommend?
Sure. I will always recommend asking the person who are some of their most recent clients, because that gives you an idea of what type of people they work with. And so, if you're in the beauty industry, then you should probably work with a publicist that has experience helping beautypreneurs. If you're in the tech industry, then you should probably work with a coach or a publicist that has experience in that industry. So I would say definitely ask them, who are their clients? What are the nature of their current client roster? And then always ask them what have been their most 5 to 10 recent media placements, right? And that'll give you an idea of what their current relationships are, because just because someone got someone in Black Enterprise 10 years ago doesn't mean they still have that active relationship. So I would say, hey, could you send me, maybe 5 or 6 links to recent media placements that you've got for your clients? And that'll give you an idea of, their current relationships. And so I also do coaching, which is where I help people get their own media placements and help them get visibility. And I think it's the same when you're vetting a coach, to ask them what type of clients are they coaching and what have been some of their most recent client results. And that gives you an idea if they're a good fit for you.
That's really awesome. And those are really good tips. And one of the things that I really, really love about you is how you help people. And, it's easy to work with you. And that to me is most important, when it's easy to work with somebody, they get you, if you will, they understand you and understand what you are trying to do. And you do that with a variety of different products that you offer. So talk some about the different products that you have, the different downloads. I love all of that because you've taken such care to create them in a spirit of excellence. And so talk about some of those products that you have and services that you offer.
Sure, absolutely. So I offer coaching, and it can be a one-off coaching call, because oftentimes, people might just need me to do a brand audit, make sure their website, their, posts, their pictures, their language that they're using is accurate to reach their target demographic. So that's where the coaching can start. I also offer e-courses that I've already prepared to give people the blueprint for getting their own media placements or building their brand or making money from their brand. And then I also offer an ebook bundle that is, kind of, again, like a blueprint to getting paid speaking engagements, creating your own book. Basically, doing the many different things I've been able to do in my business. I've created an ebook bundle to guide people through that, building their brand, getting sponsorship dollars, getting paid speaking engagements, getting media placements. So you can literally get that ebook bundle, download it and print it and use it as your blueprint for success as an entrepreneur. So those are a few of the things that I offer.
Just awesome and amazing. And all of those things are just beautiful. And the care that you take in designing them and you and your team are just wonderful. So I want to just switch gears and ask you about your entrepreneurial journey and what that's been like for you, particularly, how have you maintained your momentum when, things have been tough or things have changed around us as we've had this pandemic, for example. Talk about what's been your motivating force.
Sure. Well, I definitely say being anchored spiritually is very important to me. And so when you're anchored spiritually and you put a lot of energy into your spiritual life, then you begin to understand seasons. And when you understand seasons, you know, sometimes there's a sowing season, sometimes there's a resting season, sometimes there's a harvest season. And so that allows me to flow with whatever the climate is. If it's a resting season, I will sit down and rest and watch Netflix. You know, I never force myself to do work when I don't feel inspired to take action, because I understand seasons, and sometimes God just wants us to sit down and pour into us, and then we're trying to pour out to keep up with people on social media, and that's not what that season is for us. So I think understanding seasons really helps me to stay, you know, in flow with where God is taking me and what he wants to do with me and my purpose and my life. And that's always what I encourage people to do, like anchor spiritually, and don't, you know, look at other people and what they're doing, because that has nothing to do with your calling.
Now, you know, you get ready to start a fire, because it does not take much for me. And so I feel that, and I definitely resonate deeply with that. And I know that you are a woman of faith, and, you know, talk about how your faith has informed your business decisions, you know, walking away from contracts or walking away from deals that you knew were not good for you, right for you. How has your faith informed those kinds of situations that have been profitable, but you knew they weren't right for you, based on your anchor with God?
Yeah, you know, a lot of it has been the anchoring, and a lot of it has just been pure experience. Like I've definitely had experiences where in my younger years, I'll take on a client because of the budget, and then the client is terrible. And I'm like, why did I do that? And so that experience has taught me that if it doesn't feel right, you know, sometimes you have to politely decline opportunities. You have to politely decline working with clients. And so I think, you know, God gives us an intuition. And the more that you anchor spiritually, the more sharpened your intuition is. So then you don't make the mistakes that I made as a younger entrepreneur of just working with everybody and being excited when every opportunity comes across your desk. Now, being anchored spiritually, my spidey senses are quite, you know, more sharpened. And I feel like I'm working on, you know, making sure that my ear is sensitive to the direction of God as well. And I think, you know, you can't avoid certain, you know, mistakes and certain ups and downs. It's just the nature of entrepreneurship. But anchoring spiritually allows you to recover quickly. It allows you to learn the lessons and not really, you know, take it as a personal deficit of your own as the reason something happened, but understand, okay, there's a lesson in this, I can rebound and keep moving forward. So that's how, you know, being anchored has helped me kind of flow with the roller coaster of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and that's really, really powerful. And I really appreciate that. And so when you think about this year, you know, share some of what you hear God saying, and you know, how that's impacting some of the ways that you are rolling out what it is you'll be doing. And I don't want you to share, because I know when we're working on things, we have to be very thoughtful and prayerful. But just really, what is God saying? And then before you answer that, let me ask you this. What do you think have been some of the lessons from the pandemic in which we find ourselves? And then we can go into what is God saying about this year?
Yeah, oh, that is such a good question, because as you probably know, you know, hosting in-person events was a really big part of my, you know, business, period. I've hosted events, as you mentioned, all over the country. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, 2020, actually, March 2020, I had a big Atlanta event planned with hundreds of people coming in town for it, vendors, sponsors, all types of money, thousands of dollars involved. And 2 days before my event, the city of Atlanta shut down the city buildings. And so 2 days before my event, it all shuts down. And I have all of these thousands of dollars on the line, right? And so then I had, of course, to refund all of those thousands of dollars. Lord, help me. And so then fast forward a few months later, I had my big Essence Festival event planned. And again, thousands of dollars involved, people coming in town, you know, so much involved. that got shut down, right? And so I think the biggest lesson for me was to trust the pivot. Sometimes it takes a shutdown for God to reset us and then relaunch us. And so many different grants and things became available during the pandemic to carry us through it. It was just kind of a reminder that we can't worry about what we see in the natural world and let that shake us and let that break us and let that make us doubt God. Like, it doesn't matter what we see on the news, what we see in the natural world. As people of faith, God will take care of us, and he will do so in unimaginable ways. And so the year of the pandemic, I pivoted into virtual events, and I continued to thrive as a full-time entrepreneur. And so that was the ultimate lesson to me. It's like, you can't trust what you see in the natural. Like, you have to trust your God, right, as your provider. So
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I certainly can also resonate with that. And I also think that, we all were moving too fast. And, you talk about reset, God was giving us the opportunity to rejuvenate ourselves, reinvigorate ourselves, because a lot of the movement, it really was not necessary, because we've seen that we've been able to continue to move forward without all of the movement. And so that's one of the things that I certainly got out of the pandemic. And so as we, have turned the corner and then kind of going back around the corner, what are you sensing and what are you hearing from the Spirit of God about the way forward for the year?
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like God is telling me to work smarter and not harder. As an ambitious woman, I've always had a very high work ethic, and I've always been excited to work. Like, I just found so much excitement from working very, very hard. And so for me, God is telling me to work smarter and not harder. He's also telling me to spend more time with him. And I'm working on that. Like, God is telling me to get up at 7 a.m. and spend an hour with him soaking. I have yet to do that, but he's been telling me that for few months now. I'm shameful to say it, but I think that God is telling me that because the more time you spend with God, the more easier your path is going to be, because he's going to tell you what's coming. We don't have to worry about the variance or this or that, because he's going to tell us what's coming and how to prepare. So it's like, that is like the ultimate business strategy as a kingdom entrepreneur, person of faith, is to, look at God as your creative director, right? Or look at God as your CEO, and then spend time with him. And prophetic journaling is one thing I started doing from a group on Clubhouse called the Kingdom Business Network. And they ask you certain questions to ask God about your business and write down the answers. And so that, I think, is another strategy that God is giving me so that I can hear instruction from him and, again, sharpen my ear, because God speaks to us in subtle ways. He doesn't yell at us. So you have to sit down, you have to be quiet, you have to slow down, like you said. And those are just a few of the things God is telling me: to work smarter and not harder, and to spend more time with him so that he can give me the next steps.
Yeah, that's good. And I want to encourage you to spend your private time with God, because, we can sometimes get used to, being in the presence and the space with other people to get in the flow. And that's good. And it has its place, but also being with God, because there's nothing like living close to God. That's what I call it. God is spoken, you live close to me. And I was like, yeah. And I love that. And being with that individual time and discerning what he's saying, and getting that strategy that you talked about, just hearing what he has to say. And he will let you know what's up ahead, what's coming, what's going on, and how to flow, who to flow with, when to back up, when to go forward, and it's really being in tune to God through your personal relationship with God. And so I thank God for you sharing that, just having that spiritual grounding and spiritual foundation, and how that's made a difference in your life. And that's really, really powerful. The time always starts to wind down so quickly when you're having a really good, robust conversation. And so I wanted to just offer you the opportunity to just share with the audience how they can reach you And, if you have anything that's going on, any special offers, we know we have happybirthdayLillie.com where we can get your free ebook download. And we thank you for that. And if there's any other thing that you would like to share with the audience.
Absolutely. I definitely encourage you to visit theglamceo.com. Again, theglamceo.com, and check out some of the e-courses that are available. So, as soon as you secure it, it becomes available so that you can really level up your brand, this year, because I think is a statistic about how many entrepreneurs were birthed during the pandemic, right? And so that's a blessing, but it also means that if there's even more entrepreneurs competing for the same, marketing value, then you have to learn strategies to make your business stand out from the marketplace. And so I've put, things together at theglamceo.com that you can just purchase and download, e-trainings. I also have a challenge coming up called Get New Clients. And so that challenge will be 5 days with me, giving you live instruction. You can ask me questions and really activating you to take action to get more clients and more customers. So all of those details, again, are available on theglamceo.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram at I am Lillie Mae.
Awesome. And I did want to ask you, I know they can find it on the Glam CEO, but let's give a little taste of some of the e-courses that you have, the name of it. And so just kind of give a little teaser, because as soon as you said, I was like, oh, she needs to give a teaser about a couple of them.
Yes. So there are two main e-courses that I have. One is about attracting more clients. And so it teaches you how to write a media pitch, how to put together a media list, and how to get your own placements in the media and get interview opportunities, podcast opportunities, and things like that. And that's so important because usually when people hear about you, before they do business with you, they go to Google and they search your name. So when they search your name, what comes up, right? And you want interview opportunities to come up, like what I have going on here. Right? You want podcast opportunities and all of these things to come up, because Google is kind of like when you're going to a restaurant, you may look on Yelp to see the reviews of the restaurant. Well, Google is like that for a business owner, and people, they trust you more when they see you speaking on podcasts and interviewing with different platforms. So that's one e-course, attract more clients. And then the other e-course is about monetizing your brand. And so there's so many different ways that you can make money from being you. You can make money by speaking. You can make money by creating different digital products. And so in that particular e-course, I teach you how to get paid to be you, like how to monetize your brand, your voice, and your message.
Awesome. And I have to ask you this, because you're so good at the tech. How did you learn the tech? Did you teach yourself? Because you're so good at it.
Yeah, and that's funny. Pretty much, I am pretty much self-taught in everything. Like it's funny because when I build my own website, so if you visit the Glam CEO, like I built it myself. And so anytime I get on like tech support with GoDaddy, or I'm building funnels and I need tech support, they're like, well, you pretty much know how to do it. And so, yeah, I definitely am self-taught when it comes to building funnels and websites and all of these, tech gadgets. So yes. And then I do help my clients also learn how to master those as well.
Yeah, that's good, because I know some people listening, myself included, is like, oh, I do not want to be bothered, all of that. But, it really is about how people teach you. If you can find somebody that's a good teacher that can help you to get, acclimated with all of those things, it can become much better. So that's really good. And I can attest to the fact that you work in a spirit of excellence, and you always deliver. And, if people are looking for someone that they can turn to for PR, you have been great in helping me. And so this is somebody that I know, I trust. She has integrity. And that's very important, to be ethical in how you handle people, how you deal with them. And so I know that to be true about her as well. And so we are going to just ask you to download your free ebook. Again, it's Happy Birthday Lillie, LILLIE.com. Go to glamceo.com. We are so excited about this. And follow Lillie Mae on Instagram at I am Lillie Mae. So thank you so much, sister. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being a guest on the Nicole Mason Show. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can also follow me across social media at Nicole S. Mason, ESQ. Learn more about me on my website at www.nicolesmason.com. And feel free to join my Facebook group where we are helping women who are called and working in their careers, how to use your faith to be successful and to make massive impact in the organizations that you find yourself. So Confidence Champions is the name of the Facebook group. Join us again for another powerful episode of the Nicole Mason Show. Thank you.